Good morning everybody. Today I'm going to ask you all about line graphs and I'm going to see what you've learned from the graphs that we drew last week. So before we start, there are two different types of data that can be shown by graphs. They are continuous or discontinuous, or sometimes called discrete. Continuous is often shown by a line graph. This is because one point of data has a reference to another point of data. What do I mean by that? Well, continuous simply means that I can have a look at several data points. So for instance, if you look at the average temperature in April and the average temperature in May, if I wanted to find out what the data is halfway between April and May, I could draw a line from halfway in between April and May, move it up to the line and then move it across, and I could have some sort of an estimate of what the temperature is halfway between April and May. This is an example of continuous data because the data from one reference point has a relevance to the next part as well. So that's continuous data. This is what a line graph often shows. Now, when you're drawing a line graph today, and you are going to draw a line graph for me today, make sure that you do the following things. First of all, you must make sure that you are using a ruler, and when you're using a ruler, you must measure your scale, and you must measure your scale down the bottom and the side to make sure that they are equal. You must remember to label your axes. So you can see we've got one axis here that is labelled temperature, and we've got another one that's labelled months, and this shows average temperature throughout the year. How do I know that? Because my line graph here, my example, also has a title. So remember, label both axes, measure the axis out equally, make sure that the axes go up in equal amounts. So you'll see here this one goes up in twos, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. It doesn't jump. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to start from 0. For instance, if I wanted to start it from 20, that would be absolutely fine. But I'd need to make sure that I'm going up in equal jumps as it does go up. And I'd need to make sure as well, one of the issues that we had last week is some people did not put their numbers on the line. Your numbers must be on the line in a line graph. They mustn't be on the space. And finally, title. Don't forget to put a title. Okay, so here is your data for today. You can pause me and draw your line graph. All you've got to do, make sure that you look at each part and think what would be down one side and what would be across the bottom. Once you've plotted your points, then you can join up your points with a ruler. And here's some questions. I've got 4 questions about that graph that you've just done, and I'd like you to write them down, take a photo of them and send them back to me. So what have we got? Which type of data was used to record the height of the sunflowers? Now if you think about the data that I've just told you, those 2 words that I used at the start of the video, think what they were and think what type of data you're using. Question 2, which sunflower grew the most from week 4 to week 5? Question 3, how much taller was sunflower 1 than sunflower 2 by week 6? And question 4, at which week was the height difference between the 2 sunflowers 8 centimetres? This is your second piece of data that I'm giving you, and I'd like you to try and draw another line graph for this. So have a look at the months of the year and have a look at the rainfall. You have to plot on a line graph the months of the year and the rainfall. And when you finish with it, there are 4 questions I'd like you to answer about that as well. Question 5 says, which season had the lowest rainfall? Notice I said season, not month. So think carefully about that. Question 6, between which 2 months was the largest decrease in rainfall? Question 7, between which 2 months was the largest increase in rainfall? So you know what I mean by decrease? Decrease is going down, increase is going up, remember. And question 8, and last one, which 2 months of the year had the same level of rainfall? Now, try your best with those to do them on paper, send me a picture back. I wouldn't like to see anybody doing it on electronic. You know, it's very, very easy to stick those numbers in Excel and have Excel do the table for you. Don't do that. Do it on a piece of paper. So take a picture of it and then send it me back. Okay, good luck.